Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hello, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today, we are discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 7, Episode 19, Strange Bedfellows. Alliances shift across the board as the Dominion War continues.
It sounds so uneventful, but I really enjoyed this episode.
Are you digging this multi-part extravaganza?
I am. It's weird that they just did this out of nowhere. They've had continuity before, and we've had multi-part episodes several times, but this doesn't seem to be stopping. It just keeps going, and I love it.
How far will it go?
To the end, I'm guessing. This sort of style more closely resembles what we get now, and I'm sure this was unheard of when it was first aired.
It's not unheard of, but yeah, this is like Breaking Bad, for example. I mean, the storytelling form is like what's used in Breaking Bad, and then anything else produced by Netflix or HBO nowadays. Do you think it should have been like this from the start?
Yes, absolutely. As long as the quality is what we're seeing here. I mean, I don't think this storytelling style would have helped season 1 at all.
Well, there might be some bias because this is the final chapter, so they've perfected everything they're gonna. Would season 1 have been better if it was one large multi-part thing? Yeah, it probably would have, to be honest. So yeah, it should have been like this all the way through. How obvious is that? I can't believe they didn't do it. Now that we've seen a little bit of this, the solution is clear.
Why couldn't they see ahead 7 years and then decide, oh, obviously we should do this?
This episode was a lot like the previous one. Not many major plot points, but a lot of minor twists and turns.
Kai Wynn deciding to embrace the pod race is pretty major.
She was always evil. This isn't that new. I thought that would have been really clunky, but they completely sold it with Kira's visit. That conversation where she says that basically power is corrupting you, and if you want to heal, you must stand down, and just the look on Kai Wynn's face at that suggestion.
I can't step down. That would get in the way of my not wanting to step down.
Her expression packs so much in. There's sort of confusion, as if why would anyone even suggest that, and a hint of disgust, like, how dare you? Can't you see how amazing I am?
It made me wonder how far in advance they knew what they wanted to do with Kai Wynn. I mean, I doubt they knew this back when she was introduced, but she played the character so well, and this is a natural progression of where she was and now where she is. This idea that she never felt anything from the prophets and that it was all about gaining power and ambition. It all comes together.
They got Louise Fletcher. She's a grade A villain. I imagine that they had plans for Kai Wynn. Well, maybe not specific plans. I don't think they plan much of this show out in detail. But she's clearly an antagonist from the start. Oh, she's the core antagonist. after Ducat. And considering their mutual opposition, it makes sense for them to team up to form together, like in Dragon Ball Fusion, into one giant last boss for presumably Cisco to defeat.
She's always been played as a villain, but there was always this distinct impression that she wasn't actually spiritual, in that this is all for show, and here they're confirming it. And it made me think back to when the Prophets took over Kira instead of Kai Wen, when you'd think they would take over Kai Wen, but it's because she's not actually one with the Prophets. They know she's evil.
Her not receiving any spiritual guidance, I don't know if they added that as a way of bringing her to the dark side here. I doubt it. I think they just added it to make her appear more of a sociopath, as she's pursuing an avenue of power that she has no legitimate claim to. Well, it's like if the Pope sneakily told you that he's an atheist, but he just likes being the Pope. You'd think, wow, that's not very nice.
He loves getting rides in that Pope-mobile.
Yeah, well, that thing Tokyo drifts like you wouldn't believe.
This made me like Kai Wen a lot more, and it made me wonder, how did you feel upon rewatching the show and seeing Kai Wen, knowing where she goes and where she ends up?
Nothing different from what I felt the first time, or what you probably felt. She's pretty unnerving from the get-go. Knowing that she eventually becomes romantically entangled with Ducat, I don't know, it doesn't... She's already pretty awful as a person. The fact that she kisses Ducat... Well, it's not really Ducat, it's Anjo Tanan, or whatever his Bajoran name is, so she's not deliberately kissing Hitler. She's kissing closet Hitler.
If she knew he were Hitler, I'm sure she would at least hesitate before smooching him.
Probably, and that's a whole other discussion about some informed consent or other things I'm sure Ducat doesn't really care about. But aside from all that, I don't think that Win is particularly worse when you know her trajectory. She's bad from the start. When she first turns up, she's trying to assassinate people and seize power. She doesn't give the best first impression.
That's true. I'm probably misremembering. I was thinking she was more misguided in that she believed in what she was doing. But now I don't see that at all. She didn't believe in what she was doing. It was all about her.
Her first episode is the last episode of season 1, where she turns up, tells Keiko O'Brien that she's not very nice, and then tries to get Barial assassinated.
There's no more justifying actions through the prophets and how they work in mysterious ways or whatever. Now it's all about her.
She's a wolf in sheep's clothing, I guess. Everyone around her doesn't like her, and it's not really a secret. Being candid with the fact that she's not particularly religiously experienced maybe isn't a big deal because they all hate her anyway. I don't know.
They all nod and say that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think it's something she would announce to the Bajoran people. I really did like that little conversation between Win and Kira. I thought that was one of the best bits of the episode. Just Kira reaching out for someone who's basically a direct enemy. I mean, Kira likes the Kai, but she hates the Win. And it just showed like the last shreds of humanity in Kai Wynn, reaching out, trying to restore her faith in any way she can, and then she just stamps them out.
It's a great moment because it seems like she's on the path to redemption, and she has that option, and then she casts it aside.
She's clinging on to a cliff face by her fingertips, and she asks Kira, please pull me up. And then she says, actually, no, don't touch me, you'll get me dirty. Just let's go. Some other things happened. Martok was in the episode, as we requested.
They listened.
Statistically, I think we request Martok just about every time, so there's some bias in the odds there. Some confirmation bias. But it did have Martok and Cisco chilling, chatting about the married life.
I especially liked this Martok appearance because it was kind of pointless. So it was like they listened to us. Like, we can throw him in this scene. It doesn't really matter.
There's two production reasons why Martok showed up. The first one was because he hasn't shown up for quite a few episodes, and they keep mentioning him, but they need to get him some screen time just so people don't forget about him.
Right. But how could you forget about him?
Well, you want him to be one of the cast, not Superman. He doesn't show up and save everyone. He actually is sort of hanging about there. The other reason was... so these multi-part episodes were all written in one big writing splurge by the writing team.
Oh,
and
okay.
There was a lot of stuff that got shifted about. So Cisco's wedding was supposed to take place at the start of this episode, but that got moved back to the previous episode. So in this episode, they needed to fill a gap and remind people that Cisco just got married and make it kind of mean something. His wedding wasn't exactly extravagant, so it wouldn't be too surprising if people forgot. And you don't want people to forget that the main character got married.
Yeah, that would be kind of bad.
So that's why Martok's here. I love how Martok treats being married like warfare.
I like that, and I also like that Cisco seems excited about the idea of going to war with his wife.
There's a little bit of Klingon blood in Cisco.
Definitely.
He's more pragmatic than a lot of Klingons, but he does like some of their competitive attitudes to certain things.
He dabbles in Klingon.
He also despises the Ferengi, like Klingons tend to.
To be fair, they're worth hating.
Well, that's true.
If you're going to hate on a race, it might as well be the Ferengi. We need to talk about Damar. He was part of one of the main plot threads here.
If anything, he's the main character of this episode.
Yeah, I'd say so.
He has reached breaking point.
And it's laid out beautifully. We see over and over how he's having agency stripped away. His role continues to be diminished. They leave him out of treaty negotiations and just keep on kicking him while he's down. And then it's not a surprise when he revolts. I thought either he's going to help the Federation or he's going to make a play for Cardassia to break from the Dominion or something. That would be too crazy. So he went with the more reasonable route.
Damar is surprisingly one of the best written characters in the show, I think. He's so smooth all the way through. He never changes. He's not got any of these Bashir-like massive character twists that are hard to swallow.
Yeah.
He's been drinking for a long time. It's hard to even remember when it started. And his, as you say, his agency's been stripped away, but that's been going on for a long time as well.
Yeah. That's not new. That's not unique to this episode. He's suffered many injustices.
So there's points here where Wayoon is basically bullying him into handing his people over. It's completely believable. That's been escalating for, since they were occupying Deep Space Nine and he was trying to take the minefield down.
It's that sort of escalation that I wanted with the Breen and how I'm supposed to believe they're a threat. I wish they took the same care that they did here with Damar.
It's strange that they get some things down so well and other things kind of jot out a little bit.
Right, and it sticks out really badly because Damar is handled beautifully.
Wayoon was handled pretty beautifully by Worf.
That was kind of shocking how they showed that. I mean, he snaps his neck, and then we see him fall limply to the ground, and then you think, well, maybe they won't say he's dead or until it's off screen. No, they confirm he's dead right there.
It's funny. I thought it was funny.
It's funny, but I was surprised.
It's such a Worf thing, though. There's so many opportunities where Worf is just like boiling with anger for no particular reason. Well, usually there's some minor reason. And it often gets a bit silly. Like, why are you so angry all the time? Haven't you learned how to calm yourself down? But here he's just like, right, enough of that. I'm going to take this opportunity. I don't care if you shoot me afterwards. He's going down. It just murders him.
It was nice to see Worf go for it, and go for it in a way that's not just, oh, I'm going to punch you now. It's, I'm going to murder you right here.
I love it when Worf punches people out because they spend so much time telling everyone that he's really tough. But then 90% of the time, all they do with that is get him knocked out to show that the situation is really difficult or that the opponent is super tough. Because if they knock Worf out, they must be super tough.
Yeah, they kind of lean on that a bit.
It's nice to see him just being a kind of ninja.
A murderous ninja.
Well, ninjas were assassins. Like murder is in their repertoire.
I don't know why I was thinking a ninja is just a person that sneaks around. What would that do?
Well, they're like pirates. People forget that they're the bad guys.
Because they're so cool.
Damar let Ezri and Worf go, predictably, because otherwise they would both die, which I suppose could have happened. Maybe they still will die.
If Worf dies, it's in battle. There's no way he'll be executed.
Probably. The Star Trek writers are too dramatic.
He's a main character, and he's a Klingon, and Klingons want to die in glorious battle. They would give it to him.
And Damar established himself as a Federation ally of some sort. And already he looked cheerier.
He got to do something and have impact, which he hasn't for a long time.
That's true. He got to excise his will in some small way. And that can be amazingly relieving. Worf and Ezri were strung upside down, and sadly, Worf's hair remained perfectly covering his ears.
His non-existent ears.
I just felt it necessary to update Earwatch.
Eargate?
It's not a scandal.
It can be.
How can it be a scandal? A conspiracy, maybe.
They're parading around as if they have ears when clearly they do not.
I'm gonna move on past Earwatch.
That's a good move.
There's lots of other little bits that we could comment on. Female changeling was very sick.
Yes, she looks disgusting and flaky.
Yes. I don't have much to add to that. O'Brien and Bashir and Quark lamented that Esri and Worf were missing. I'm surprised that they don't assume that they're both dead.
They want to hold out hope.
How many days has it been, though?
42.
47.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like they should have been declared missing in action, or I don't know how it works.
Well, they know they're in a TV show, and the longer it takes to find someone, the better chance that they'll be alive.
Right.
So they knew if they're dead, they would have found them already.
I guess in wartime, you wait until the end of the war, and then anyone who you don't find alive, you assume is dead from the war.
There's no advantage to ruining morale by keeping an updated list of possibly dead people.
You could have it grouped into percentages.
What? Survival rates?
No, like percentage chance they're dead.
Oh,
So if
okay.
their ship blows up, they're straight in the 100%. They're dead. That's confirmed. But Worf and Esri would be in like the 70 or 80%. And when they get bumped up a category, there's an announcement. Oh, Worf and Esri now in the 90% probably dead.
Quark would have side bets.
Yeah, they could make dying in war fun again.
Oh, jeez.
There is a little thing that made me giggle with Damar and the mirror.
Why did that make you giggle?
He saw his reflection. He was wallowing in his own self-pity, and he raged out. I expected him to smash the mirror, because that's what happens on TV shows.
Yeah, and then they look at their reflection in the broken mirror.
Yeah. Instead, he threw his drink on there, which was all goopy.
Yeah, a lot more viscous than I would guess an alcoholic beverage would be.
It looked like cough syrup.
Yeah.
Which is alcoholic. Or it can be. Maybe that's what Kanar is.
Maybe he's just been sick this whole time, and that's his medication.
It's Calpol. I thought it was a subversive way for a character to rage out at a mirror. And it kind of predicted how Damar would become a subversive character. Maybe I'm reading far too much into that.
Yeah, but that's what we're here for.
They probably just didn't want to smash the mirror.
They couldn't afford it. Wasn't in the budget.
Well, it's a special Cardassian-shaped one. They need the same set piece for any other Cardassian mirrors they may show at any point in the future.
In Cardassia, if you break a mirror, it's 47 years of bad luck.
Okay. Just years, not centuries.
How long do they live? I don't know.
Well, not that long, so it's a bit academic. Do you have a quote from this episode that you'd like to share with us?
You should have killed me. There's only one Damar.
He's got a point. Actually, wait, no, he let them go, so...
Yeah, if they killed him, they would have been screwed.
Probably. Whoever got promoted to that position may have been sympathetic like Damar.
That seems unlikely.
It seems really unlikely, yeah.
I love how happy he was to see Wei Yun dead.
He's potentially responsible for killing another Wei Yun, isn't he? Well, he got Wei Yun 5 killed, or allegedly, in a transporter accident. And then Wei Yun 6 was killed when Damar and Wei Yun 7 forced him to activate his suicide device. So Damar's seen its fair share of dead Wei Yuns now.
It hasn't lost its novelty yet. Or ever, maybe.
He was laughing about meeting Wei Yun 9.
Maybe we'll reach double-digit Wei Yuns.
I don't know why they don't just activate a whole load of Wei Yuns.
It must be a limited supply. I don't know how readily available the ingredients are.
Shall we continue on this roller coaster of war and episodes?
Yes, sure.
Okay, but that's a bad analogy because you don't get to choose where roller coasters go. They just go.
But this is a war being told through a television show, so there is a track, but I'm not aware of it. So it's a roller coaster in the dark.
Wait, okay. Let's go to the next episode.
On we go.
Yes.